Cowboys-Niners. I say those two words to you, the first memory you have is what, Moose?
NFC Championship game, 1992, 30-year anniversary just a few days ago, I think.
What do you think about that one? What hits you?
The big thing was we're going out to Candlestick, and everybody knows who San Francisco is. We are the up-and-coming team, but I think in most people's eyes, we were a year away. We were 2 years away. I've said this to teams and players all the time when you get a chance to talk to them in these environments. You go out into that environment, and you've got a margin for error. Even as talented as we were young. But that San Francisco team was so good. So we had to go out and play really, really well. And I tell this all the time. That is as close to a perfect game that group ever played. And we had to have that. We were +4 in the turnover ratio that day, and we're still holding on in the fourth quarter until Alvin Halper has the big play, to kind of seal that for us. So, that was the start. And then the next year we're in the championship game again. The following year we lose out at Candlestick. So that was kind of the opener for that generation's battles between Dallas and San Francisco with a lot on the line. So that'll always be a special one. That was one of those situations where you don't know what you don't know. We were the youngest team in the NFL going out to play what everybody thought was the most talented and the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl, and just played the game of our lives.
Yeah, and when Dak Prescott scampered into the end zone scot-free on Monday night against Tampa to help the Cowboys to their first road win in the playoffs since that 92 NFC Championship game in Candlestick, do you know he became the first Cowboy to run one in for a touchdown in a road playoff win since you, Daryl?
Wow.
Did I just blow your mind?
Madness.
Yes,
you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I don't have many rushing touchdowns at all. But to be a part of that equation, that's crazy. And that's the thing. The numbers that people are able to talk about with the Dallas Cowboy organization and the futility in the playoffs for the last 30 years is it doesn't mesh. You're like, no, that can't be Dallas. That can't be right. It can't be that long that they haven't done that. And for my touchdown in 1992 to be the last road rushing touchdown, that shows you how challenging things have been for the organization. In
a win, you put your team up 17-10 in the third quarter. Emmett grabbed one, later on in that game, and I was at the last NFC Championship game between the two of you, the one that the Niners finally broke through on, and I just remember that game with Switzer there, and it was unbelievable. That was truly one of the greatest playoff games I've ever witnessed. Dion going against Michael. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember which team Ken Norton was on by that point. He kept switching back and forth.
He was on San Fran at that time.
Yes, he was. That's right. And Haley being those are some old Donniebrooks, man. Just great.
Yeah,
they were just great.
I still think if we'd ever gotten it inside 10 points, if we ever could have got it to a single-digit lead, got it to 7, I think it would have just shook San Francisco to the core because they were up 21-0. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was our rallying cry in the first quarter. Hey, we're down 21, but we did it real fast. There's a lot of time left for us to get back in this game. I mean, probably the worst 6 or 7 minutes of football I've ever been a part of on one of the bigger stages you're ever going to have the opportunity to play. But you'll have to get Michael one time to see what the conversation is between him and Dion and that uncalled pass interference that would have gotten us, had it been called, would have probably gotten us inside 10 points. Oh, yeah. And I think that really shifts the whole the dynamic at the end of that game.
Well, this is Wednesday. We talked about it with him yesterday, Moose.
Yeah.
We brought it up to him.
Has he let it go yet?
No, and I've been on the set with both of them still arguing. One time they even got up out of their chairs live on NFL Network to reenact which each one thought the play looked like. And we're showing a shot of it on the screen right here on a photograph. It really is something that lasts to this day. And because, and this is the last one here, you could have won 4 in a row, right? You would have won 4 in a row, pretty much, the Cowboys, if that happened that day. Based on what we saw the Niners eviscerated Stan Humphries and the Chargers in that Super Bowl. right, Moose?
Yeah, without a doubt. And that was the hard part because you're sitting on the cusp of history. Nobody's won 3 in a row. And we really felt like we had the opportunity. I think one of the big things that everybody forgets about that season is that was the season that Eric Williams was in the car accident. And when we don't have Eric Williams, not only are we not as good at right tackle, but we just lost our physicality on our whole offense. When Eric Williams is in the huddle, there's a different mentality for our offense, and we lost that when Eric was out for the rest of the season. So there's a lot of things that people will talk about, but for me, that was always the biggest one. It was going to be hard for us to get back there without Big E, and that's when it kind of showed itself. We really struggled. We put Larry Allen out at right tackle, so he's out of position, and he's got a bad ankle, and it was a tough lift for us. They were a good team, but it was so frustrating because we were sitting on the cusp of history to do 3 in a row. And there's a few teams that have had that opportunity, and nobody's been able to cash in on that yet. Not even those Patriot dynasties. So, for us, that will always be the one that I'll always wonder about. And, truth be told, God, we needed Jimmy. I wish Jimmy would have stayed one more year and taken a shot at it.
You told him that? I'm sure, right? You've told him that, right?
I hope he knows. I hope he knows.
Well, he knows
I
now.
hope he knows I hope he knows how important he was to our team. I mean, that's the one thing. Sometimes coaches, they feel like they're just the person in charge, and you set the schedules and you organize the camp and you do all the different things and you've got your staff. Jimmy was more than that for us. Jimmy he had a lot of our swagger. Just the way that he carried himself, the way that he coached. He was a big part of everything we did. He was a huge part of everything we did. And when he left, that was a huge hole. I mean, people talk about having to replace players, and maybe sometimes you're not quite as good because you weren't able to replace that player. We weren't as good when we lost Jimmy. We lost a lot more, just than his leadership at the top, just the way that he carried himself and the emotion that he brought out of our team.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.